The 2022 Tundra was just released approximately 4 months ago. Sales began in early December. It's now the first week of April, and if you look at what's been going on here for the last several weeks to months now, there's an alarming number of 2022 Tundras that are becoming for sale on the used market. Between December and the end of March, Toyota sold about just under 25,000. It's actually 24,993 Tundras. Most all of those would be 2022 Tundras, as very few 2021s were left at that point. And currently, if you look at AutoTrader, there are 226, or almost 1% of those vehicles for sale just on AutoTrader. For comparison purposes, Ford moved about 200,000 units of its F-Series pickups in that same amount of time. Typically, about 3/4 of their sales are the F-150, and not all of those would be 2022s, but it's safe to say a majority of them would be 2022 F-150s, at least substantially more than the Toyota Tundra. And if you look across the nation, Ford only has 139 vehicles for sale currently as used 2022 pickups on AutoTrader. What's more disturbing about the Tundra are its stats. So what I decided to do is look at the ones within a 200-mile radius of my home. Now that includes Metro Atlanta and Metro Charlotte. And there were 23 for sale in my metro area as of April 5th. We can assume all those sold between December and the end of March of this year. I would hope nobody from the first week of April is already trying to sell their vehicle on April 5th. But of those vehicles, 10 of them were for sale at dealerships that were not affiliated with Toyota, and 13 of them were available for dealerships at Toyota. The average mileage on those vehicles was 894 miles, and except for one outlier which had 12,000 miles on it, the average is 389 miles. So we have, at just under 400 miles on average, 22 Tundras being sold as used vehicles within 200-mile radius of where I live. When I break these 23 vehicles down by category, there were 4 vehicles that were sold as used vehicles or being offered for sale as used vehicles with between 0 and 100 miles on them. There are 11 vehicles between 100 and 1,000 miles on them. That's the biggest number. And then 7 vehicles between 1,000 and 10,000, and 1 vehicle, as I said, with 12,000 miles on it. Now, of course, there have been some fit and finish issues with the new Tundra. Some of that may be to be expected with a new vehicle, at least that's what some people will argue for a brand new vehicle. There have also been some issues with the turbo wastegate that will hopefully be resolved. But ultimately, this says consumers are not largely happy with this vehicle when they purchase it, and very quickly after purchasing it, they're deciding to trade it in. And of course, this isn't the majority of people, but it's a significant enough number that I think it causes concern about what this vehicle is. In any event, if you have some of your own thoughts about what may be causing this large turnover of these vehicles, go ahead and put that in the comments. I'd be curious to know what people are thinking, and if you're someone who's traded one in, let us know why you traded it in already.